Are you living someone else's definition of good enough? It's a question that can sit quietly in the back of our minds for years, a low hum beneath the surface of our busy lives. We follow the map we were given, the one drawn by well-meaning parents, by cultural expectations, by the glossy, curated lives we see scrolling on our screens. We diligently check the boxes, the stable career, the responsible choices, the picture-perfect family moments. We build a life that looks right, that sounds right, that feels right. We tell ourselves we're grateful, that we have it good, and in many ways, we do. But in the quiet moments, in the car on the way home from work, or after the house is finally still, when the noise of the day fades, a different question surfaces, a gentle but persistent whisper. Is this really it? There's a strange, hollow ache that comes with this kind of good enough. It's the feeling of being a passenger in your own life, of running on a treadmill that someone else set the speed for. You're moving, you're busy, you're even successful by most external measures, but you're not actually going anywhere that feels like true destination. It's a subtle, deep-seated exhaustion, a low-grade sense of misalignment that we often mistake for just being a tired adult. We try to numb it with another episode, another scroll, another purchase, hoping to fill a void that isn't material. We convince ourselves that this comfortable, predictable path is the safe choice, the right choice. But safety and purpose are not the same thing. But what if that nagging feeling of discontent isn't a sign that you're ungrateful or that something is wrong with you? What if it's a sacred signal? What if God is inviting you to more? Now, when we hear the word more, our minds often jump to worldly things. More success, more recognition, more possessions, more security. But that's the world's definition of more. It's a quantitative game of accumulation that never truly satisfies. The divine invitation is different. It's not about more, but more. It's a call to more depth, more meaning, more freedom, more joy. It's an invitation to step off the treadmill and onto a path that was designed specifically for you, with all your unique gifts, passions, and quirks. It's about trading a life that is simply fine for one that is truly full of the presence and purpose of God. This journey from good enough to God's more can feel overwhelming. Where do you even begin? That's exactly what we're going to explore together. In the next 12 minutes, I want to give you a clear and practical roadmap. We're not going to talk in vague spiritual platitudes. We're going to get specific and actionable. First, we'll uncover the 3 most common yet subtle signs that you are settling for a life less than the one you were created for. We'll look at how the quiet daily habit of comparison can become a thief of our God-given identity, leaving us feeling perpetually behind. We'll explore the paralyzing grip of the fear of failure and how it keeps us anchored in the harbor of the familiar when we were built to sail the open seas. And we'll diagnose the surprising comfort we find in our own discontent and why breaking up with our own limitations can be so profoundly difficult. Recognizing these signs in your own life is the essential first step toward freedom. Then, once we have a clear diagnosis, we'll walk through 3 foundational steps to begin living in God's more, starting today. These aren't giant, intimidating leaps of faith, but small, intentional shifts in our daily posture. We will learn the simple practice of tuning out the world's deafening noise so we can finally hear the specific personal whisper of God's calling for our own life. Next, we'll discover how to take that first small, courageous step into the unknown, trusting that God illuminates the path as we walk it, not before. And finally, we will embrace the transformative power of surrender, of opening our hands and releasing our white-knuckled grip on our own plans, our own timelines, and our own definitions of success. This isn't about striving harder. It's about surrendering deeper. It's about aligning your heart with the heart of your Creator and discovering the incredible adventure He has waiting for you. So if you're ready to trade good enough for a life of abundant purpose, stay with me. Welcome to Seeds of Greatness. There's a quiet hum of dissatisfaction that many of us experience in our daily lives. It's not a loud, dramatic crisis, but a subtle, persistent feeling that we were made for more. It's the feeling you get on a Sunday evening, dreading a week in a job that pays the bills but doesn't feed your soul. It's the sense of going through the motions in relationships that have become comfortable but have lost their spark. It's the realization that our days are filled with tasks, but not necessarily with purpose. This is what it means to settle. It's the slow, almost imperceptible trade-off of our deepest dreams for the safety of the familiar. We build a life that is good enough, and in doing so, we risk missing the life that could be truly great. If you've ever felt that pull, that longing for something more, and you're looking for the courage to stop settling and start living a life of intention, a life chosen on purpose, a life lived deliberately, then you are in exactly the right place. At the heart of this journey is a foundational and frankly radical promise. It's found in the words of Jesus, a statement that cuts through all our striving and surviving. He said, "I have come that they may have life and have it to the full." Let's pause on that for a moment. Not just life as in breathing, working, and sleeping. Not just a life of getting by, but life to the an abundant life. The original Greek word here means superabundant, over and above, excessive. It's a picture of a cup not just full but overflowing. This isn't a promise of a life free from problems, but a promise of a life filled with purpose, meaning, joy, and resilience our problems. It's a radical idea because it flies in the face of a world that often tells us to shrink, to be realistic, to lower our expectations. This promise invites us to raise them. It suggests that the deepest desires of our hearts for meaning and connection are not a fantasy, but a reflection of the very life God wants for us. And this is where the challenge lies. This promise of an abundant life directly confronts the kind of contentment that keeps us small. Now, there is a beautiful, healthy contentment, a deep sense of gratitude and peace in God's provision. But there is another, more insidious kind of contentment. It's the complacency that masquerades as peace. It's the comfort zone that has slowly become a cage. It's the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown that convinces us to stay put. Think of a magnificent oak tree. As a sapling, it can live for a time in a small pot. It has soil, water, and sun. It is, in a way, content. But it will never become what it was created to be, a towering, strong oak if it remains in that pot. Its potential is limited by its container. Too often, we are that sapling. We become content with the pot of our current circumstances, our limiting beliefs, and our comfortable routines. We forget that we were designed to be planted in the wide-open field of God's purpose, with roots that go deep and branches that reach for the heavens. This series is about recognizing the pot we're in. It's about understanding that the discomfort we feel might not be a sign that something is wrong with us, but a sign that we are ready to grow. It's an invitation to break free from the contentment that keeps us small and to embrace the courageous, expansive, and abundant life that awaits. Settling isn't a sudden event. It's a slow dimming, a gradual turning down of the light inside you until you're living in a perpetual twilight. It begins with the routine, the one you accepted because it was safe, predictable, the same breakfast, the same commute, the same tasks. At first, it's comfortable, but soon that comfort curdles into a numbness that seeps into everything. You're on autopilot, moving through the days without truly participating in them. Your life becomes a script you didn't write but continue to perform. This numbness is often paired with a constant, low-level hum of someday thinking. Someday I'll travel. Someday I'll write that book. Someday I'll leave this job. Someday becomes a mythical island where all your deferred dreams live, a place you're always sailing towards but never seem to reach. It's a dangerous form of self-soothing because it gives you the illusion of ambition without the discomfort of action. And then there are the compromises, the small surrenders you make along the way, agreeing to a project that misaligns with your values, staying in a relationship that asks you to shrink. Each one feels insignificant in the moment, a tiny price to pay for peace or security. But they accumulate, leaving you with a quiet, persistent ache of regret. This is the quiet desperation of settling. It's the silence at the dinner table that isn't peaceful, but heavy with unspoken words and unfulfilled longings. It's the feeling of watching your own life from a distance, a spectator to a story that is supposed to be yours. You might have all the external markers of success, a stable job, a nice home, but you feel a profound sense of disconnection. A feeling that the person everyone else sees isn't the person you were meant to be. This disconnect is the true cost of settling. It's not just about missing out on grand adventures, it's about missing out on yourself. It's the erosion of joy, the replacement of passion with passivity. But the moment you can name this feeling is the moment you reclaim your power. The first step out of the twilight is to turn on a light. Not a floodlight, just a single lamp. We do this with a simple but profound exercise, a tolerance audit. Take out a notebook and create a heading for one area of your life that feels heavy. Let's start with your career. Ask yourself honestly, what am I tolerating here? Am I tolerating a lack of recognition, a toxic colleague, mind-numbing work that insults my intelligence? Write it all down without judgment. Now do the same for your personal well-being. What are you tolerating in your health? Chronic low energy, poor sleep that you've accepted as normal, an ache in your back you always ignore? And what about your environment, your home? Are you tolerating clutter that drains your energy? A space that doesn't feel like a sanctuary? The goal of this audit isn't to overwhelm you. It's to make the invisible visible, to see, in black and white, the small burdens you've been carrying. This awareness is the fulcrum for change. With this new awareness, we can begin to act, not with a grand gesture, but with small, deliberate steps. The first is to practice a boundary. Your audit likely revealed places where you're giving away your time, energy, or peace. This week, your task is to say one brave no. It doesn't have to be a dramatic confrontation. It can be a quiet no to staying late at work, a polite no to a social event that you know will drain you, a firm no to your own negative self-talk. Saying no is not an act of selfishness, it is an act of self-preservation. Every no you utter to something that diminishes you creates the space for a yes to something that expands you. It's a declaration that your well-being matters. Next, we counteract the inertia of someday with the momentum of today. Begin one small project. The rule is simple. Commit to just 20 minutes a day for the next 14 days. The magic is in the consistency, not the immensity. What could you do in 20 minutes? You could write one page. You could watch a tutorial for that skill you want to learn. You could declutter a single drawer. You could put on your shoes and walk around the block. This isn't about finishing the project. It's about starting. It's about proving to yourself in 20-minute increments that you are capable of creating change. It's about rebuilding trust with yourself. After 14 days, you won't just have made progress on a project. You will have rewired your brain for action, transforming someday into a series of manageable, achievable todays. Download the 7-day devotional to start your no experiment. Comment no this week and tell me which area you'll guard. Subscribe for daily courage.